Hello everybody. Today I want to discuss about breathing, and why it is relevant, and what are some of the steps we can take to regulate that. So why it is important? In our body, there are so many activities happening automatically without we realizing it, from the food that we take in, and it gets digested, it's converted into various things, and finally becomes our whole body. And this body is continuously it's functioning around the clock throughout our life in various things which we cannot really observe what is going on inside. But one thing that is notable is this breath. It happens automatically as well, and we can, if we need, we can observe it, and we can stop it for a moment and see how it feels. So it's kind of, I think, a bridge maybe, or a way through which we can at least get some sense of how things are going on automatically in our body. So why do we need to focus on this? If you see any news, whether it is good or bad, if it is slightly shocking, the first reaction comes from our body is the breath. If it is good or bad, it just stops us for a moment, and then we take the breath. And oftentimes it might change the rhythm for some time. If the news is maybe bad, or if it is disturbing, can be good also. Then what happens is our breath rate rapidly increases to compensate that new information, or to resolve the problem. Our body naturally generates that response. So after a period of time, when the breath stabilizes, we know that we can handle better, or we can do something better about the problem, whether it is good or bad. So we can do something about it. If we are not in control, then we really can't do anything effectively. So breath plays an important role. When we are quiet and there is no big change, then it follows certain rhythm. When we are active, when we are doing some work, it gradually increases. When it is too stressful, it goes beyond that limit, and we can even sense it, sometimes even sweats. So depending on how sensitive we are to the problem, our breath varies. And so the good thing, or to resolve it better, is when you are not in panic, or when you are in good control, when you stay at a quiet or peaceful state of mind, we can do better about it, right? So if we are already oscillating, moving here and there, and if a ball is thrown at us, we can't catch it easily, right? But instead, if we stay quiet and without any thought, then we'll be more spontaneous and react to the problem. So in a way that if we regulate our breath, it helps us to resolve things better. We can take it that way. So this is the reason why breath is relevant. Many reasons, but this is one way to look at it. We can go on explaining about it, but it will be better if we start feeling it and experience by ourselves. So that being said, that is the reason for why we need to observe breath. And now, how do we get it stabilized? How do we understand before even get some control over? So the way is, there are three ways I wanted to share. So one is very basic, which is simply sit quietly and observe, inhale and exhale. So the moment when we try to observe something like this breath, it is hard to really distinguish from the natural process and the volunteer process. For example, if we are going to observe somebody who is doing some work, what we do is we keep quiet and see them do their work. That is what observing means. So we need to really understand not to go and do their work. So that is what happens with when we try to observe breath. So we have to be careful. If this is clear, then breath can be felt much better. So to observe it, what we need to do is we should make sure we don't do by ourselves. Then what else we can do to observe it? Basically, we can sit quiet and see when it starts to come in, the inhale, and when the exhale happens. There is an urge. Obviously, if we hold your breath for a long time, there is an urge comes, and then onwards, the inhale process happens. So we can wait for that, and it is a very slippery thing to observe it. Maybe we can do one step extra, but should not do this all the time, but just to get a feel of it. For example, if you get a ball, to understand, you just take it in your hand and press it, see back and forth, see the color, get the sound. And how do you understand something new is by observing various ways. In the same way, if you try to observe breath, what you can do is you can just stop it. Completely stopping it will forcibly you will come out. You completely stop. Instead, what you can do is slow down. Maybe the exhale is a better choice, I feel. If you slow down the exhale process, let the inhale happen unconsciously, or don't pay attention to it. And when the exhale happens, just pay attention and put a little break to this process. Put some volunteer action. Basically, in order to observe it, we should not do anything voluntarily, but most of the cases, we will try to inhale and exhale. So in order to avoid that, what we are doing is only one part we are doing, which is the exhale. And if we only stop the exhale process, not completely but partially, and go into a level where you go out of breath, You see, if you keep on stopping it, it has to come out, right, naturally. So it will try to pump, it will put some more effort and it will try to pump out. So at that time it is easy to sense what is going on. Okay, so it is like you see someone new. To understand them, you get closer and take a look at them and see, sometimes, back and forth. If you see a new kid, you want to see them, you take a good look at them by going closer. The same way, to observe this breath, we go a little closer and we do this kind of play of breaking the breath during the exhale process. Once, if it is familiar, okay, you got the point, how this exhale is happening, what really triggers from inside, and thereby this automatic process is happening. If you see that, it's kind of not one particular point in the body. It is like you can't really pinpoint and see it is happening exactly at this place. It is this compression and expansion task, right? So if it is only one muscle, it would have really struggled, or you may get a pain. So if you observe closely, it happens like almost throughout the body. The breath happens, so you can sense it. It is like the whole body is going in and out, but it is not visible in that level, that way. But it is not just the lungs alone that performs this. It feels like most of them are from the stomach area. That's what we will observe when you try to break it. If you really want to push it further, the next step would be, obviously you need a quiet place where there is no disturbance, and you have a fresh air, your windows are open, so you get a good ventilation. So in that condition, if you try to push it further in the same direction, like exhale process, you try to exhale a little further and stay in breathless state for, obviously you don't have to put so much of effort, and that will come out, it will burst away, and the inhale and exhale will happen rapidly and you will not understand anything. So what I'm saying is, if you gradually take that, you will go into a state where you run out of breath. Obviously you can't stand there, correct? So what you do is you take a little air, little at a time. That helps to stay within that state. And then exhale, let it happen slowly. That is the key. So what happens is, it's like a big balloon. Let's assume our lungs is a balloon, and we exhale, continue to exhale, so the air inside is like less, maybe even the lungs gets compressed. Don't worry, nothing strange or nothing harmful will happen. Even the stomach may try to pull in, so that compensates the air loss that happen inside. So when you keep exhaling and you have like minimal, if this is the container, you are like at the bottom, here you just do this inhale and exhale. You will be forced to take the air in because you are running out of energy. So you take a little air, then it comes up, then slowly exhale. So this is kind of a very good practice to understand this breathing process that is happening in. So if you are worried about what is happening, you can compare this activity with marathon. It is like, gradually you run. Don't run too slowly as well. So you need to keep a pace. But it happens for a long time. In the same way, this also, here there is no running, but the same effect you can see. You run out of breath and you will start to sweat. Your body shakes a little, but it's all fine. Don't push it to beyond certain extent, where it is like too much to hold. But the good thing about our body is, even if you try, that is not going to happen. You will lose conscious and you come back normal and you take the air in and out. So you can practice this, keeping in mind that, okay, this is the boundary, I can't go beyond this. Beyond this, if I try, it's going to come out. So you stay there and play as much as you can to understand. This might be little too heavy for somebody who really just want to get some glimpse of it. So you can ignore this if it is too much of effort. But if you're curious, give it a shot. And the next method is the simple. We'll start with simple. If required, we'll go deeper. Otherwise, pick whichever is comfortable. So half eye, I want to call this as half eye meditation or half eye whatever. So in this state, keep your eyes like more than half closed. It's like, you keep it like 20% open. I can't show it now because when I'm talking, I will not have like good focus to reach that level. But otherwise, if you try, it's possible. In the beginning, you might get into a disturbed state, and your eyes may be flickering, moving back and forth, like up and down, and will not let you to stay in that state. But it's okay, you can just try for some time, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes max. I would say maybe 5 minutes. If your surrounding is quiet, then maybe like within 5 minutes you can reach that. What I mean to say is, you can keep your eyes 80% closed and open, like very in a mild fashion, and you may see something, some light, but no understanding of what you see. It may be your friend, but still you don't perceive anything out of that. So if you go into this state, if you keep in this state, and if you try to observe your breath, you can observe it better. So why? How does it help? The moment you keep your eyes half closed, what happens is, not half, maybe like 80% closed, the image that comes in, it's like very not very clear to the brain, right? So generally we keep our eyes open, or we keep it completely closed. We don't stay in this intermediate state. It is not quite usual. So our brain will tend to understand what this image is unconsciously. It will not understand clearly. So what it will do is, it will put all its attention here, and we plan to do nothing at this level except observe this breath. So it is easy to do this task with a lot of focus. So your brain will dedicate all the resources and observe, try to interpret what it is seeing through that partially closed eye, and it will not get anything. Even if it tries, your mind is ready not to process that image. So that full focus, it is prepared and it is not doing anything. So it's a very good state for you to do one process. If your mind is going to do this, observing this breath, that will happen in a much better way. Or if you don't want to do anything, even if you keep quiet and stay calm, you will see that you have reached this quiet state easily. And if you observe this breath, you can observe it well, and you can differentiate that state of whether it is happening automatically, and when you are volunteering it yourself, you will realize, okay, this is where I am beginning to do the breath by myself. I shouldn't do this, so I can stay quiet, let the breath happen on its own. Then what happens is, it even reduces all the other thoughts as well. Thereby you are even more quiet and doing this breathing. If you can extend it further, so that is the easiest part, easier part. And next is, like, if you extend further, that is where the good thing is. You will notice that even the breath intake and exhale reduces. So you will take less air only, and you go on. It just goes to a very small level. You probably not used to breathe or stay with that much breath. You may not even imagine that you could inhale and exhale so less and continue to be in that state. So beyond that, if you wanted to see, which I haven't experienced, is that breathless. So once you see that very less amount of air, with that it's possible to stay, then breathless is also like next step. But as I said, don't compel yourself. It should happen quite naturally, without much of effort. It is like you have a mobile phone. If you assume all the other activities or applications are closed, so there is no leakages. It's like perfectly designed standby mode for a mobile that does not waste any battery. Similar to that, you don't engage yourself in any of the thoughts, and you keep your attention focused on only event, that is the breath. So that breath is basically, it is generating energy to supply to the body, and the body and mind. Of course, body's other actions we are not stopping. At least the one that we deal with, the mind, its activity is dropped. It's almost like in a sleep state, but in a much better sleep. Hence, so there is no spending of energy. Thereby, your breath is dropping. So in a way, it makes sense. Nothing harmful in this direction if you observe breath and go on. So the third method I wanted to share is basically go into a quiet state easily and practice this or observe the breath. So one of the way in our normal day-to-day activity is going to sleep, is where we all go to a quiet state. So once we completely slept, there is nothing we can do. It's gone. It's not in our control. And when you wake up, you start to process the world as you see. But in between, there is a time. It makes this transition. And if you can spend some effort and stay in that moment and observe your breath, there you will find that it is easy to observe it or feel it more than the mind. you can feel it, and thereby you can continue to stay awake and understand and get used to what breathing is. And you can, once you're comfortable, it's like you learn to do cycling. Once you learn to, you can take the cycle and do whatever you want and whenever you want. Same way, once you're comfortable with the breathing, and during the day also you can apply that and get that rhythm of inhale and exhale back, even at critical situations. So this transition point, so before that, to keep your mind prepared to do this task. Okay, before I go to sleep, I'm going to observe my breath. And if you prepare yourself and keep it ready, then you will be more alert to observe what is going to happen during that time. And lay down, get to a sleep state, and just do the inhale and exhale. It might start with you volunteering in the beginning, and then withdraw yourself and try to only focus it. And once you feel sleepy, and if you can put a little effort and observe this breath, you will see that it is happening effortlessly, and how easy it is to observe. And you will start to observe the breath. There are some other benefits also. It will help you to stay awake as well, and so that you can clearly observe this process. Or I would say, the quietness that you are in, even if you forget this observation and you go to sleep, that moment will be very joyful, and you will it's like you hypnotize yourself. And it is not a complete loss of mind, but there is a little consciousness, and you will see that okay, how this mind is slowly going out of your reach. So it's kind of fun. It can be done before going to bed, and before getting up in the morning, and during the day also, like after lunchtime. It's kind of hard to perform in office, but maybe a little effort can be made. So we generally feel a little sleepy or dizzy after meals. So at that time, if you just keep quiet and observe yourself, observe how the breath is happening, you will feel that it's easy. You might think that you are kind of lazy, but in a way that is more suitable for you to observe this process. Not only this, but anything. It's like you are like available to do like one task that you wish to do during this transition time. So that's all. Thank you.